Welcome, Latin 1, to week 6 of distance learning. Since you only meet today and on Thursday, your passage is going to be a little shorter. In the PDF that corresponds to this lesson, there is a document. The first 4 pages of it have vocabulary supplied with each sentence individually. Following that, the rest of the story does not have vocabulary supplied. Your lesson today is only going to be the first 4 pages of the story Bregans. So my advice to you before you continue in this video, using the supplied vocabulary, make an attempt to translate the story first and then go back, watch the video, and correct as necessary. Tom warika postquam hanc rem naravit clamavit, loquax, antiloquax, dominus advenit. Then varika, and now we're going to have a postquam clause. This is why it's valuable, by the way, to read an entire sentence before you begin translating, because you'll naturally kind of realize there was this thing with commas, and you know that's going to be kind of translated as its own thing. After he told this matter. Now, you're going to see in this story a lot of different cases and genders of the word that means this. We'll learn them all more formally later, but again, just become accustomed to seeing a lot of these. After he told this matter, shouted, and what he shouted was, loquax, antiloquax, the master is arriving. Now notice when he addresses loquax and antiloquax, the form of the names stays the same. We're going to be reviewing in this lesson that second declension nouns and names have a special form when you address the person called the vocative. Vocate servos in aream, ego eos in spicere volo. Call. Now this word here, this is an imperative form. You can call it a command or you can call it an imperative. When you tell somebody to do something, this is the form you use. So let's review how we create these. You're going to start with your infinitive. Remember, infinitives are the words that end in re. So the word vocare means to call. All you need to do to create the imperative of this verb is take the re and throw it away. When you throw it away, vocare becomes voca, call. Now that's the singular form. When you're telling one person, if you were to tell one person, call the slaves, you would say voca. Okay? If there were long marks, there would be a long mark right here because there is a long mark here of the infinitive. Up here, look it up here, this is a plural imperative. To create a plural imperative, simply for this verb, take the singular imperative and add te. So it becomes vocate. Now you're telling more than one person, call. So you may recall when we were in the class and I would come in, I would address all of you saying salvete, because I'm talking to more than one person. If you're talking just to me, you would say salve. Call the slaves into the courtyard. Remember, in means in only when it has ablative. So the ablative form of city is a short e here. So in or be, in the city. Accusative after in means into. In or bem, into the city. So call the slaves into the courtyard. I want, and remember, I want finishes its action with the infinitive. I want to inspect them. The word eos is the accusative plural equivalent of the word eum, which we've already learned means him. So eos is worth memorizing just as a vocabulary item that means them. Servi ad aream celeriter currerunt, quod salvium timebant. The slaves. That's going to be our nominative plural subject. Now, before we go on, let's review the format of the dictionary now that we have entered Book 2. When you look up a verb, you're going to have the present tense I form, followed by the infinitive, followed by the perfect tense I form. Remember, the I on a perfect tense means I did the action. So the word kukuri would mean I ran. It is very important from now on, when you go to look up a verb, you go to look this up, you go to the C's, you go to the CU's, you go to the CUC's, and you don't see, look, this verb starts CUC. You don't find a CUC. It's very important when you don't find what you're looking for, you have to go to this third item. This third item so often is, in fact, what you're going to have in your text. So when a student says this word is not in the dictionary, what they almost always mean is they haven't found it because they're not looking in the right place. You need to almost by default look at that third item, and that's where you're going to succeed. So the slaves ran. The slaves ran quickly. You could put this adverb anywhere. You could say the slaves quickly ran. You could put that practically anywhere. The slaves quickly ran to the courtyard. Why? Because they were fearing Salvius. That's why. We've learned already that Salvius is just a nasty man, and they're rightly afraid of him. Servi in ordines longos se instruxerunt. The slaves drew themselves up. Now, this verb means to draw, in the sense of to draw yourselves up into a line. And you could even translate this whole idiom as got in rows, or lined themselves up. Okay? This word say can mean himself, herself, or themselves, depending on the context. They drew themselves up into long rows. So you want to imagine, like, for instance, if you've seen in a movie where a bunch of soldiers are all lined up to be inspected by their superior officer. That's basically what's happening here. Villicus per ordines ambulabat, servos inspiciebat et numerabat. The slave manager was walking. Always worth reminding ourselves, bambas is bant, imperfect tense, was doing an action. Was walking through the rows, per ordines. Servos inspiciebat et numerabat. Now, no nominative subject here. A servos, this is accusative. So this is going to be the object. When you don't have a nominative singular subject in your sentence, you assume whatever stated subject came before. You don't want to necessarily repeat the word. You're going to just add the appropriate pronoun, in this case, he. So he was inspecting the slaves, and he was counting. Now, you probably want to add something like them. Now, you know what the Latin word for them would have been. He could have said, servos inspiciebat et eios numerabat. He could have said that, but Latin tends to not add an object when the context makes it clear. Subito exclamavit, ubi sunt ancillae, nullas ancillas video. Suddenly he exclaimed, where are the slave girls? I see no slave girls. Now, the negative of the sentence is this adjective. This adjective means no or none. So, nullas ancillas, none slave girls, no slave girls. So, what he sees, notice this is a positive verb, I see. What I see, however, is no slave girls. What would be a more natural English translation for I see no slave girls? Well, you could negativize the verb and do something like this. I don't see any slave girls. You can always feel free to do that to make better English. Ancillae domino nostro cubiculum parant, respondit loquax. The slave girls prepare. What do they prepare? We need our direct object, cubiculum. The slave girls prepare the bedroom. For whom do they prepare the bedroom? Now we're going to need dative. Domino nostro. This is one of those cases where for is the best translation. The slave girls prepare the bedroom for our master, responded loquax. Ubi est coquus noster inquit Varica, ego volubilem videre non possum. Where is our cook? Said Varica. I am not able, ego non possum. Again, that's one option, ego non possum. I am not able. What would be more natural English? I can't. I can't, and the action, of course, is carried out with an infinitive. I can't see volubilis. Volubilis venire non potest, quod cenam parat, respondit Antiloquax. Volubilis can't come. Why? Quod? Because he is preparing dinner, responded Antiloquax. Bregans mediis in servi stabat, canem ingentem secum habebat. Bregans was standing. Where he was standing was in the middle of the slaves. Now, very normal in Latin, when you have a preposition such as in, and you have a noun and an adjective describing the noun. Okay, here's your noun. Here's the adjective describing the noun. Very normal word order in Latin is adjective first, then the preposition, then the noun. Okay, so be on the lookout for that. You're going to see it dozens of times when you read a lot of Latin. Literally, canem ingentem secum habebat means he was having a huge dog with him. Now, here is one of those cases where the imperfect just seems like an over-translation, and you certainly can just turn this into a regular perfect tense sounding verb in English. He had a huge dog with him. Okay, that brings you to the end of page 4. I hope you first had some good translation practice on your own, and now you've been able to review your translation using this video. Study very especially some of the breakout grammar lessons that we had. Things like how to form the imperative. You're going to have questions in your Socrative on some of those grammatical points. Okay, we'll see you Thursday. Be well.